So, Bo of the Fifth Column just made a video called "Let's Talk About Wisconsin Electors and Settlement." All right. So, I just want to point something out. The factor that part of the civil settlement is, having to admit that Biden won. You know, especially because let's be real, with the disgrace in the whole situation, is this the first time in United States history that there hasn't been a peaceful transition to powers. On an election level. So what absolutely astounded me, which considering the factor, the whole situation with Tatia Cuddy, getting having video playing, admitting that well, pretty much that she had intentions of fucking somebody's whole life up, which is absolutely witness intimidation or witness tampering. All right. When it comes to the whole factor of election interference and the democratic process, what I find astounding is the factor of people rationalizing, like, hey, all right, the whole January 6th insurrection, you know that right there, people wanted to be like, that right there would be treason, un-American, automatically traitors to the United States should get tarred and feathered, hung by the gallows, pretty much calling for people's deaths. All right. The funniest thing is, technically, when Kanye West ended up, being on TV and saying George Bush doesn't care about black people, that right there, technically, if you wanted to go ahead and, make claims of election interference, Kanye West could have been perceived as doing the same thing, you know? And the factor of, Harrison Floyd going ahead and trying to have that whole, harassment campaign online continue on, you know, but have it, done through social media. Like, everybody loses at something in their life. There's nobody that's going to win at everything and that's going to be great at everything and perfect at everything. Like, really, what counts is how you end up taking it when you lose. You know? So when you end up going ahead and having somebody, like, for example, even with the example of fighting, all right? When I was a kid, I ended up in some fights, but the fights that I ended up in, I was defending myself, Like, for example, how do you get out of a situation, with, being in the bathroom when you have one person standing at the doorway blocking the doorway and you have another person wanting to go ahead and start pounding your face in? At that point, you don't have any other option than fighting, you know? Ended up winning that fight, but I also got to learn, when pushed too far in that situation, that I needed to go ahead and really check my anger because, I ended up going ahead and hitting the person's head against the urinal. But that wouldn't have happened if they didn't go try to trap me into the bathroom and, start swinging on me. I'm saying that right there as an example. You're not going to win every fight. You're not going to lose every fight either. You know? Honestly, some of the fights that I've ended up winning, I ended up being surprised about. Like there was this one fight that, and literally cameras weren't on there. But I ended up telling the person, I'm like, listen, if you really need for it to go this route, I'll even go ahead and I'll give you a free shot. You go ahead and you swing on me however you need to or anything. But understand, I'm swinging back. They end up going ahead full force, punching me right in the jaw. And I literally just rubbed it. I'm like, are you kidding me? This was the most you had? And then proceeded to beat the crap out of them. You know? there's literally been circumstances too where, people have ended up lying about the pretext of a fight. Like, for example, the one that ended up going viral on fucking World Star. Where I ended up finding out the person 16 years old. I had just turned 19. I was like, I'm not gonna fucking fight a little kid. But in the meantime, there's an entire group of like almost 20 people there. Dude ends up going ahead, pulling a lighter out of his pocket, palming it, and just starts pummeling my face in. And the funny thing is, literally while he was on top of me pummeling my face in, I'm still completely coherent. Don't get me wrong, was bloodied up to all hell. But I'm literally just like, dude, you even had a lighter in your hand and you still didn't manage to knock me out. I wouldn't take that as the win you think it is. The factor that I didn't swing back, that was a choice that I made. But anyway, my point on this is, people really, really, really need to stop escalating shit when shit doesn't need to be escalated. You don't like somebody? That's fine. But understand, for every person that doesn't like somebody, there's going to be other people that do like them. And the reasons that you don't like them, sometimes is because of the factor that that person just called you on your bullshit. But literally, when you start getting to the point of doing literal fucking hate crimes and being pissed off that you ended up with a criminal record because you didn't want to take accountability for doing fucking hate crimes while trying to continue to get away with fucking hate crimes, don't be surprised. There are points where accountability, self-accountability comes into play. There's shit that I've ended up doing in my life that I had to take accountability for. People wanting to go ahead and make me out to be the great fucking evil. It's like, listen, even at the worst points of my life, I never got to escape accountability. I ended up spending 4 years on fucking probation. As a teenager, ended up going ahead and, having to get sent to that group home. Got taken away by CPS. Like, these things happen. But the role that you end up playing in something and the impact that I could end up having, it could have a lot more detriment. Like, for example, somebody like Fox News going ahead and trying to over-sensationalize about shoplifting, ended up going ahead, like even for the example with my collectibles getting stolen, because of the value that the collectibles ended up having. Now you ended up having people that started going into GameStop trying to steal collectibles, and one of them ended up getting shot by a GameStop manager. Now the GameStop manager is literally having faced charges in Florida for manslaughter, and Fox News is literally there instigating it, like, oh, organized retail, crime ring. And it's like, watch what you're watching. Watch the media intake that you're taking in. Like, and really understand, when you want to bring things to an escalation to that level, there's going to be ramifications. That GameStop manager, because of, claiming stand your ground laws and going and putting a bullet in somebody that shoplifted, yeah, that person that shoplifted, their family's never going to get to see them again. And that GameStop manager, now he has to deal with a manslaughter charge because of the factor that other people wanted to go ahead and not recognize, the 8th Amendment of the Constitution of cruel and unusual punishment, as well as over excessive bail. Like, don't escalate things to that level and expect that everything's going to end up fine.